Have you ever wondered why some people react so negatively to criticism? It could be a sign of Narcissistic Personality Disorder, or NPD. This mental health condition is marked by a long-standing pattern of grandiosity, an intense need for admiration, and a distinct lack of empathy. It's more than just an inflated ego or a strong sense of self-confidence. Narcissistic personality disorder deeply impacts relationships, work, and the overall well-being of both the individuals who have it and those around them. It's a complex and often misunderstood condition that can cause significant distress and dysfunction. One of the key traits that sets NPD apart is how individuals with this disorder react to criticism. Instead of taking it in stride, they may respond with anger, shame, or humiliation. Today, we're focusing on this specific trait of NPD, reacting negatively to criticism. Let's delve deeper into this fascinating and important topic. One of the key traits of narcissistic personality disorder is reacting negatively to criticism. This reaction isn't just a simple annoyance or mild discomfort. No, it's a more intense, visceral response, often manifesting as anger, shame, or humiliation. Imagine a balloon filled to the brim, ready to burst at the slightest prick. That's how individuals with NPD feel when faced with criticism. The slightest negative feedback or critique can feel like a direct attack on their self-worth. They might lash out in anger, retreat in shame, or crumble in humiliation. This isn't just a bad day or a short temper at play. It's a consistent, pervasive pattern that can significantly disrupt daily life and relationships. But why does this happen? What makes individuals with NPD so sensitive to criticism? Let's delve deeper into the psychology behind this. Psychologically, this trait stems from a fragile self-esteem. Imagine a balloon inflated to its maximum capacity, gleaming and impressive, yet one prick away from bursting. This is a metaphor for the self-image of individuals with Narcissistic Personality Disorder, or NPD. They have an inflated sense of self that is paradoxically fragile, a delicate balance that can be disrupted by the slightest critique. The inflated self-image is like a shield, a facade that they've meticulously built to hide the vulnerabilities lurking beneath. It's their defense against a world they perceive as hostile and threatening. Criticism, in their mind, is not just a comment or feedback, but an attack on their self-worth. In their reaction, it's not just a response, it's a reflex, a deeply ingrained defense mechanism to protect their vulnerable self-perception. This defense mechanism manifests as an aggressive or dismissive reaction to criticism. They may lash out in anger, shift blame, or withdraw emotionally. Think of it as an emergency system kicking into gear, ready to fight off the perceived threat. It's a survival instinct, one that's been honed and reinforced over time. Yet it's important to remember that this isn't about justifying their behavior, but understanding it. It's about peeling back the layers, going beyond the surface level aggression or dismissiveness to understand the why behind it. Because beneath the inflated self-image, beneath the defensive reactions, there's a fragile self-esteem, a sense of self that's been built on shaky foundations. This fragile self-esteem is often rooted in deep-seated insecurities and self-doubt. It's a paradox, really. On one hand, they have this inflated image of themselves, and on the other, they're constantly battling feelings of inadequacy and fear of rejection. This dichotomy is at the heart of their negative reactions to criticism. In real life, this can play out in various ways. It can manifest as an overreaction to a simple suggestion at work, or as emotional withdrawal in personal relationships. It's a complex trait, one that's deeply ingrained and difficult to navigate. But understanding the psychology behind it, is the first step towards addressing it. Imagine a work setting where a small suggestion from a colleague might be met with an outburst. This is a possible scenario when someone with narcissistic personality disorder faces criticism. Their inflated self-image is threatened, leading to an aggressive defense. Or consider a personal relationship where constructive feedback is met with emotional withdrawal or blame shifting. It's a way of protecting their vulnerable self-perception. Perhaps you've been at a social gathering where a playful jest caused a storm of humiliation and anger. This is not a simple case of being overly sensitive. These are telltale signs of an individual struggling with narcissistic personality disorder, reacting negatively to criticism. These scenarios may vary in intensity and response, but the underlying issue remains constant: a fragile self-esteem that reacts defensively to any perceived threat. This trait not only affects the individual, but also strains their relationships, creating a ripple effect of tension and conflict. The negative reaction to criticism can create a hostile environment and hinder personal and professional growth. The ripple effects of this trait can be observed in relationships, personal well-being, and even in the workplace. When someone constantly responds to criticism with anger or withdrawal, it can strain relationships, creating a sense of walking on eggshells for those around them. This, in turn, can lead to isolation and loneliness, further exacerbating the individual's distress. In a professional setting, this trait can stunt career advancement. The inability to accept feedback prevents the individual from recognizing areas for improvement, thus inhibiting growth and progress. This can also affect team dynamics, creating tension and conflict in the workplace. Moreover, this trait can significantly impact the individual's self-esteem and mental health. Over time, the constant defensive response to criticism can lead to a cycle of self-doubt and negative self-perception. Understanding this trait is the first step towards change. Therapy, particularly cognitive behavioral therapy, can be effective. This is a powerful tool in the arsenal against narcissistic personality disorder. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, is a type of psychotherapy that helps individuals challenge and change thought patterns that lead to harmful behaviors or feelings. But therapy isn't the only solution. Self-help books can also provide valuable insights and strategies. These materials often combine expert advice with real-life examples, offering a practical guide to managing and overcoming NPD traits. Support groups too play a crucial role. These safe spaces allow individuals to share their experiences, learn from others, and realize they're not alone. The journey to change is not about eliminating criticism. It's about changing how we perceive and respond to it. It's about understanding that criticism is not always an attack, but often an opportunity for growth. With the right help and support, individuals with NPD can work towards healthier ways of dealing with criticism.